All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Greenhouse Sessions. I'm your host, Mr. Green. You want to introduce who are we talking to today?
Hi, Mr. Green. Thanks for having me here with you today. I'm Patti Thomas, artist. I go by the Ghost.
Yeah, that's
Buffalonian.
That's a good place to start. I go by
Okay.
Mr. Green. Mine is from Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, good
I
movie.
love the moniker, whatever they call it, and I needed something. I'm a cannabis user, but I also am a drone pilot.
Right.
So at the time, I needed like some anonymity.
Yeah.
Is that why you use the Ghost, or why do you go by the Ghost?
Yeah, same reason. Anonymity. I started on an art career a couple years ago, and just because of, I think, being somewhat known in the public, I really wanted to separate the art from my other life. Probably I've been thinking about why I wanted to do that, and I'm pretty confident that it was because I am a creative person, and I think the judgment and criticism wouldn't bother me in any other part of my life. But because I'm creative, I think it would have hurt, just being criticized for being an artist just because I'm creative. It would have been a shot at my creativity, and that shallow part of me was like, I don't think I'm ready for that. So I really wanted to be anonymous and just to know kind of what people really thought about my art aside from my other life, keeping them separate.
Is that something that spills in all the time as your other life, and you have to kind of...
Sure. And that's okay. I'm proud of like my husband and who he is and what he's accomplished. So I have no problem with that. I think it was just such a personal thing for me. And I wanted to know I was in the right spot. In retrospect, it was all ridiculous, to be honest. I love the name, but the reason behind choosing the name is all ridiculous because the worlds don't collide very, very often. And I would have continued on an art path, whether people like my art or not, because I love it. And it's part of who I am. It always has been, and I just didn't know it. So it was all for no reason, really. Except I got a cool name out of it.
I love that. You make art for you, and it's just a bonus, really, that people like it.
You just hit the nail on the head. It's a bonus. But at the beginning, I feel like it was just a shallow response to the journey, needing to be validated. And I think, we spend too much time of our lives trying to be validated in work and friends and personal business. And I just, if I had to go back, I'd have been like, who gives a fuck? Can I swear? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Like, do what makes you happy. If it ends up being a career and you sell art, good for you. If it ends up being therapeutic, you put your ridiculous art up in your dining room, that's good enough. So it would have all been good enough.
I'm with you. Is there like a specific message that you try to convey in your art, or does it change based on each piece?
I think it does change on each piece. It changes according to what's going on in the world. It changes according to what's going on in my own life personally. Again, I'm a pretty deep thinker, so and I'm all over the place. So it's definitely fluid. The meaning, there always is. I would say 90% of the time there is some meaning to my art, and you don't necessarily know it by looking at it, but because it's figurative and crazy and kind of out there. But I would say maybe 5 or 10% not really a meaning, just fun, inspired by music or something like that.
Yeah, I find it interesting that looking at all of your artwork, they can be serious and like whimsical at the same exact time.
Yeah.
And it's really almost like how your mood sees it.
Yeah.
At that time, which is very cool.
Yeah. Yep, and that's been said before, and that's definitely by design. I don't want to turn people away with my art. I want it to be inviting, funny, colorful, but I do want to usually convey some kind of message that's important to me. It could be important to you or not, but if it is, and we share like wanting to talk about it, and then it's a great communication opener, and just you know, it's a way to get on the same level on things and just talk.
I'm with you. Is it weird? Okay, this is a good one. So I think about this as my own self as somewhat of an artist when people recognize me.
Right.
I'm sure you've gotten the recognition thing from your other life, right? People see you
Sure.
and know who you are.
Right.
But when you started getting recognized as an artist, what was that like? And was that a new experience for you?
That's such a great question too, because it's happening more and more lately. And it's funny because people will even come up, you know, to my husband and be like, oh my gosh, I love your wife's art. And he's tremendously supportive. He likes taking a back seat sometimes to like the art community when they come up, because they're really not. A lot of them are, but a lot of them are not huge football fans, and he's fine with it. So it is really interesting that has started to happen, and it's nice. I would lie if I said that's not really cool. That's a very cool feeling for people to come up and know you're an artist and say they love your art. And it happens a lot now, and especially in Western New York. I would be lying if I said that's not a great feeling. Anybody would be lying if they said, you know, people really appreciating what they're doing, that they put their heart and soul into, that they love it. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand that. It was a weird one for me at first, but it's definitely a great feeling.
Yeah.
Funny or fun question, I guess I should say. Your husband said in an interview once that if they had made a movie about his life, he wanted to be played by Kevin Hart. Who would you want to be played by?
He said Kevin Hart?
Yeah. I don't know. Kevin Hart's funny. He's whimsical. People like him.
I don't dislike him. I'm just surprised Thurman used Kevin Hart. He's like 5'1" or something. I don't know.
Who would you pick to play your husband if it wasn't Kevin Hart? Maybe we should go there.
Yeah. I would pick, oh my God, Michael B. Jordan all day long. Okay. Yeah, for sure. They don't look that much alike, but I'm going with Michael B. Jordan. Okay. I'm going to nix Kevin Hart, and we're going with Michael B. Jordan. I guess to play me, that's a funny question. I'm going to say an actress, and it's not because I think I look like her at all, because I don't. Because she's beautiful, but I love her as an actress. I think she's incredibly funny. I'm going to go with Jennifer Lawrence. I love her. I think she's fantastic. If I had somebody to play me, I think I would love to have her play me.
I love it. One of the questions that we kind of talked about before, but I did want to touch on here. Are you from Buffalo originally, or can you talk about growing up?
I am. I grew up. My brothers and my sister grew up in North Buffalo, but when I was 5, we moved from right off a hurdle out to the country. So I pretty much grew up out in Elma on 13 acres, more of a country girl. And then my older siblings, most of my life, I graduated high school out there, was in Elma. I had a really great childhood out there. Okay. It was awesome. And then I was a golfer, so I went away to Oklahoma State to play golf right after I graduated high school. And I met my husband there. He was a senior playing football, and he got drafted back to the Bills, which was very ironic.
Yeah.
And I was from here, so.
Yeah. Being as someone else that lived in Oklahoma, do you have a favorite dish that you've missed from the South or from the, I don't know?
I don't really. Yeah, it is. It's like Midwest, but okay. South Midwest for sure.
The biscuits and gravy in the morning.
I wasn't a big fan.
Okay.
I will say there was like a comfort food, like that fried chicken, like, it's breaded chicken, fried, then gravy and mashed potatoes, like a good hangover I would never eat that today. I'd be sick for 3 days. But back then in college, we would get that, and it would just be a great
So good.
hangover meal. You're not going to find chicken fried steak around here.
Not like that. If you
Not
did,
not
it's
like
not
that,
right.
and not like that. Yeah.
So, excuse me. Leading into you mentioned comfort, so it's just where my brain goes. This studio, obviously, we're on the east side of Buffalo. We're in the neighborhood. We're in the town.
Yeah, I love it.
Seems like your message is about community, and one of the art pieces you were part of, or one of the art things, was the Choose Love campaign.
Mm-hmm.
He's not here today, but one of the big parts of this studio, the unfortunate tragedy that happened with the 10 people in Buffalo, it actually hit home very hard to the studio. That campaign obviously means a lot to Buffalo. Can you just kind of talk about how the Choose Love thing came about or anything? Or?
Sure. So the folks from my husband and I do some marketing things for Highmark of Western New York, and ad campaigns and things like that we have for a couple years. And they came and reached out to me about doing a mural for the home opener, which was a tribute to the victims of 514. And it was a Choose Love theme, and they wanted to have something to commemorate that day and honor, the lives that were lost and the survivors, and their families. And so I painted the Choose Love mural. I actually painted 3 big canvases, and they take the canvases and they do their process. They put it on a giant mural, and then it was in black and white, and so the fans could color it in, and the community could all share in the artwork together. And it was received really well. I think it was called I Love You and You and You and You, and it was just about unity and meeting on common ground, and just kind of opening up communication between people that maybe have differing, opinions on things, and just to find out like how we are all so much alike, and start with that, and then work on the differences once we've found this commonality. And that was the goal behind the artwork. And it's kind of developed into some other things. We're just launching a Choose Love wine. The wine was made out at Reef Estates in Canada, and the wine came out really good. And the labels are my art. And we're going to give a portion of the proceeds back to the Urban League of Buffalo, and just kind of keep it going, keep that same loving theme moving forward, and
Got you.
hoping that it gains steam.
Is that the same? Like, I seen T-shirts that they're making. Is that the same campaign, or is that something different that the NFL might just be doing?
So I think the Bills do a Choose Love. They do their Choose Love. I don't think there's like art behind it. It's just Choose Love.
Just their campaign.
It's their campaign.
Okay.
But the Choose Love like phrase is used all over the world.
Right.
And it's there's no necessarily like trademark on saying Choose Love, but the art, adding the art to the theme, made it definitely like separated it from just the words. But it's definitely the same. All has the same meaning.
It's phenomenal. Do you have any like art that's currently on display anywhere?
No, nothing right now. No exhibits right now. We just moved into a new house, moved into the city. We've had a couple unfortunate tragedy, lost my mother-in-law a couple months ago. We've just had some significant life changes in the last few months, and been focusing a lot on family and that, and not to mention we've had a pretty busy business just with our construction company and things like that over the last couple months. I've been painting, and I've been working on commissions for some clients, but have not had time to do any exhibits. I'm going to do a small exhibit over the summer at the Burge with Brooke.
Shout out to Brooke.
Shout out to Brooke at Dome Art, and she's doing a few different local artists at the Burge Mansion, and highlighting a couple different pieces. That's this summer. And then I did it last year, doing it again this year with a guy named Michael Hibbard of Gallo Coal Fire up in Lewiston. He's got a great restaurant up there, really great guy. And he's an artist also, and we collaborated last year and did Gallo and the Ghost. And it was an art exhibit, but it was also food and wine and music and dancing, and it was just a lot of fun. And we raised money for Heart, Love, and Soul, which is an outreach program that offers services to people in Niagara Falls that are in need. So this year we're going to do Urban League and Gallo and the Ghost 2.0. We're going on with it. Bigger, better, more artists. It won't just be my art. We're including other local artists and more music. DJ Milk coming in and just going to have a really good time and dancing, raising money, looking at art, eating, drinking, all those good things. So that's July 29th, and it's going to be a really good time. So other than that, chilling this summer, painting.
Lots of
painting.
Restock and painting.
Exactly. I need to up my inventory. Business has been decent, so I got to keep painting.
Do you have to like separate yourself for a period of time when life is going on before you start painting, or do you have to get into a certain mode?
I literally just have to pick up a paintbrush and open a can of paint, like open a jar of paint or a tube of paint and have the canvas in front of me to get motivated. I have to just do those couple things, and then I can get right into it.
I got you. It's an ongoing debate. We're not going to go into too depth of why this is a debate at this studio, but keep debating artists about graffiti artists, like street art.
Yeah.
And I want your opinion. Do you feel is graffiti art, and is it vandalism? I guess, and where is the line in your eyes?
That's another really great question. It's definitely art. It's 100% art. And I think when you're defacing public property in a way that it's really going to affect who owns that property, and they're going to have to put their hard-earned money into, making it look like it should look again. I guess I'd have to start with saying, just be respectful about it. Be respectful about it. And I know that all public property, someone has to address it. But I think if you're doing something and you're adding to the aesthetics of your neighborhood and your community, I know it's probably not a very popular thing to say, but I'm all for it.
Right.
I'm all for it. As long as you're not defacing some historical property or somebody's business that really can't have that out there. I just think ask first, do something, just try to be respectful of the property.
I'm with you.
It's 100% art, and I love it. I'll also say that.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I do get both sides of it. It's just,
yeah.
I always ask, where's the line? Because I feel like it really is tough to say, and it almost is subjective based on where the graffiti is too.
For sure. And we could sit here and debate it all day, and someone, from Public Works could come in here and have a very, different argument that is also valid.
Right.
So I don't think there really is a right or wrong answer to it. It's an opinion, it's going to be opinion no matter what.
It's like the drums or flats question that keeps coming
Drums
up.
all day long.
No.
Crispy is hell drums.
I know. We make the argument on the other show, shout out to the What's in Yours talk show, that the meat that comes out of the flats, though, feels like it tastes better.
It's veiny, though. It's veiny. That's the thing. I can't do the veiny part. I will agree. The meat, the first bite of it is better, but the drum overall, the first bite of a flat, if you can avoid the veins, that's a good bite.
Right.
And I'm from Buffalo. I can avoid the veins. I just don't eat the wing. I won't eat the whole wing, and then I feel like it's a waste. If it's a drum, I pretty much eat the whole wing. The little knob on the drum, I love that little knob.
The little crusty.
Yeah, yep. I love
you.
that.
I'm with you. Wrapping up here, I'm curious if, you're technically newer in the art world a few years, right?
Yeah.
Since the pandemic. basically, right? I'm
Yep,
sure you've been
yep.
doing this before. In some,
No, never picked up a paintbrush
not,
before.
Okay, let's go there real quick.
Yeah, never picked up a paintbrush before March of 2021. March 4th, 3/4, which is unusual. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it was always there. And I wouldn't have. It was a friend that is in that business and encouraged me. I had respect for her, so I'm like, sure, I'll try it. And it kind of exploded right off the bat. I was just getting really great feedback. Like I said, it didn't matter. I would have kept doing it because I absolutely love it. And it's been pretty successful. The art's doing well, and I'm enjoying it more than anything. I mean, you know, being a mom, being a grandma, like golf, like those are my things. But like art is like, it feeds my soul like nothing else.
What's your best golf score?
Ever?
You know?
Probably a 78. Yeah, it was a lot. That was back probably in college. But I've had a couple nice low rounds in the last couple of years, maybe 80, 81, 82. Those are good rounds for me because I don't play as much as I'd like to play, but I'm a pretty decent golfer.
Yeah, I just started teaching my 7 and 9-year-old.
That's when you get them going. That's when you get them.
And it's funny, we started with the irons.
Yeah.
And they got really pretty good with them. And then the other day, their bonus mom took them to the range, and they were using the drivers. And they're going, Dad, we're
they had
so
fun
much
with
better.
that. Yeah.
And I said, I taught you on the hard stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really good approach because the irons are harder.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Is there, do you want to like tell everybody where we can find you? Is there anywhere that you want people to follow, like social media?
Sure. You can follow my Instagram is Ghost Room Art.
Okay.
And I can be reached at artbytheghost@gmail.com for anything, studio visits or anything like that, just to talk about art. I love it, and I appreciate you having me on here, Mr.
Absolutely.
Green.
No problem. You can come back whenever you'd like.
I had a good time.
I have to have you visit one of the other shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Let's get that going.
So, all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.